You're watching the Mad Fictional channel.
All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're taking a deep dive into this crazy novel called My Surfer Scientist's Secret Wife. I know, just from the title, it sounds like some ridiculous rom-com, but I gotta tell you, this story, it goes way deeper than that. We're talking interdimensional rifts, we've got these spectral entities, a little bit of culinary magic, and of course, gotta have a marriage of convenience thrown in there for good measure.
Marriage of convenience. Now that's got my attention. Tell me more about this interesting couple.
So we have Ira, who's a pastry chef. And basically, he lives and breathes his bakery, Sea and Sugar. The guy's all about precision, absolute perfection, making sure every single croissant has that, perfect golden brown sheen. You could say that he's a bit obsessed with control, especially when it comes to his pastries.
Interesting. So what about this surfer scientist? I'm picturing like the polar opposite of a meticulous pastry chef.
Exactly. Her name is NixonNina, and she is a total free spirit. And she's got this crazy idea about how to market Ira's pastries by, get this, embracing their imperfections. She even comes up with this whole tagline, the Sea and Sugar burn.
Wow. That's actually brilliant. It's not just, a marketing tactic. It's like a direct challenge to Ira's deeply held beliefs, right?
Right.
I mean, pastries are delicate by nature. They're prone to, imperfections. Almost like the universe is setting Ira up for this lesson in letting go.
Totally. And the marriage of convenience thing really throws a wrench in the works, too. Nixonina, she needs legal residency. So she proposes this whole business deal to Ira, basically saying, marry me and I'll make your bakery explode in a good way.
Ah, yes. The classic marriage of convenience trope. I think it's so fascinating because it forces the characters to confront their own prejudices, and they often grow in ways they never expected. And in a story where reality itself is, a bit shaky, that kind of personal growth can be really powerful.
Definitely. Speaking of shaky realities, let's talk about this interdimensional rift. It's described as like a tear in the fabric of reality, a gateway to other dimensions and all these strange energies. But here's the really crazy part. The rift's energy, it's actually influenced by human emotions, especially fear.
Hold on. So the book is saying our fears can literally shape reality.
Yeah.
That's pretty terrifying when you think about it.
Yeah.
It definitely taps into all our deepest anxieties about the unknown, about losing control. What if our own anxieties, our collective fears, are actually influencing things happening around us in ways we can't even grasp?
Whoa, that's deep. Makes you wonder how much of what we experience is shaped by forces that are completely beyond us.
Exactly. And then, you've got these spectrals, these semi-coherent beings that come out of the rift. They seem to almost feed on fear and chaos, like they're drawn to all the negative energy humans put out.
Yeah.
They're definitely creepy. And they seem particularly interested in this young woman, Melody. She seems to have this really unique connection to the rift, almost like she's a beacon, drawing these spectral entities to her.
I see. So the spectrals raise some really interesting questions about, the ethics of exploration. How far should we go in the pursuit of knowledge? Especially when it comes to things we clearly don't fully understand. When does simple curiosity turn reckless? Or even, dangerous?
Right. Curiosity killed the cat, or in this case, opened up this rift in reality and unleashed all these spectral entities.
Yeah, good point. And of course, we can't forget about Claude Venglaise, Ira's rival from culinary school. He's the CEO of this, kind of shady organization called Ira Corp. They're dedicated to, exploiting the rift for their own gain.
Claude's a trip, right? He's like the poster child for unchecked ambition, totally obsessed with control and power. It's interesting, though, because he and Ira both have this deep desire for perfection, but their approaches are completely opposite. Yeah, I see that. Ira, he's all about order. But I wonder if there's a fine line between order and control. Like maybe Ira's obsession with perfection. Could that actually be a form of control, just, on a smaller scale? Claude, he wants to manipulate reality itself. But Ira, he focuses on controlling his immediate environment, his pastries, his bakery. It's like two sides of the same coin. But Claude's side is definitely darker.
That's a great point. Their rivalry is even more interesting when you think about it that way. Ira trying to maintain order in his little world, and Claude trying to control, everything. It's like a clash of ideologies with interdimensional chaos and spectral entities thrown in for good measure.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most mind-bending parts of the novel. At the climax, Ira, NixonNina, and Melody are suddenly transported to this this alternate reality. It's like everything they knew, their memories, their whole lives are just rewritten. They're thrown into this world where the rift doesn't seem to exist, and they have to question everything they thought they knew about themselves and the world around them.
Yeah, it's crazy. One minute they're fighting spectral entities, the next they're in this totally normal seeming world, trying to piece together these like fragmented memories. It makes you think, what would it be like to have your entire reality just like rewritten? What would you hold on to? What would you let go of?
That's a really interesting question. And it's one we're going to explore in much more detail in the next part of our deep dive. We're going to see how Ira, NixonNina, and Melody navigate this new reality, how they deal with, well, echoes of the rift, and how they eventually rediscover their purpose in a world that feels familiar and yet totally alien.
I'm excited to dig into that. But for now, we'll have to leave our intrepid trio hanging on the edge of this new reality and let our listeners stew over those thought-provoking questions.
Definitely. Until next time, folks.
So last time we left off with Ira, NixonNina, and Melody like stepping right into this new reality where their past lives, battling those interdimensional rifts and all that. It seemed like just a distant, like a weird dream. They find themselves in this world. It seems so normal, deceptively so. But there are these little hints, these almost like glitches in the matrix that suggest that something's not quite right.
Yeah, it's like the riff. It tried to erase their memories, but it couldn't quite do a clean sweep. It left these traces, these echoes of their previous reality.
Right. Like Melody, for example. She had that super intense connection to the rift. Well, now she's working in this coffee shop, but she keeps saying that she can like feel the rift's presence, even though she doesn't consciously remember what it is. It's almost like a phantom limb, this feeling that something's missing.
That's really interesting. It's like the novel is playing with this idea that that reality might be more fluid than we think. Like, what if our memories, our experiences, they're not as fixed as we believe? What if there are these forces out there that can, manipulate our perceptions, rewrite our pasts?
I know. It's kind of unsettling, right? To think that our sense of self, our identity, it could be so easily manipulated.
Absolutely. And this new reality throws a real curveball at our characters. Ira, he tries to rebuild his life. He even opens up a new bakery. Ready for this? Sea and Sugar, too.
Oh, come on.
But he feels this, emptiness. He's lost his passion for the thing he used to love.
Yeah, he's lost that spark, that drive for perfection that used to define him before. He was all about control, controlling every little detail, the pastries, the bakery, his whole life. But now, even though his life is, pretty stable, he's lost that sense of purpose.
Right. And NixonNina, she's struggling too. She's Dr. Nina Nixon now, respected theoretical physicist. But she feels like her research is meaningless. Her life, it's lacking adventure. Without the rift, without the unknown to explore, she's just adrift.
So it's like both Ira and NixonNina, they lost their sense of purpose when the rift vanished. Thrown into this new reality, stripped of their memories, and forced to start over. But deep down, they know that something's off. They don't know what it is.
And then there's Melody. She's drawn to Ira and NixonNina, even though she can't explain why. It's like they're connected on this subconscious level, drawn together by this shared experience that they no longer remember.
It's like the universe is trying to nudge them back together, you know, reminding them that they're meant to be in each other's lives.
Yeah, I like that. And eventually, that pull becomes too strong to ignore. They start, hanging out at Sea and Sugar, too. Baking together, talking, trying to piece together those fragmented memories. They find comfort in each other's company, a sense of belonging that they haven't felt since being ripped from their previous reality.
Yeah. But even as they're finding solace in this newfound connection, strange things start happening. At first, it's just little things, objects disappearing, memories flickering. But then things get weirder.
Right, like the time Ira finds that chair in his bakery. It just appears out of nowhere. It defies the laws of physics, a clear sign that the rift's influence is growing stronger.
Right. And NixonNina starts having these vivid dreams, these flashes of memory that feel so real, like more real than any dream she's ever had. It's like her subconscious is trying to break through, trying to remind her of who she really is.
It's like the rift is trying to reclaim them, pull them back into its chaotic embrace.
Yeah, exactly. And then Melody, she drops this bombshell. She says that the rift is calling to her, that she can sense its return.
And remember, Melody, she's the one with the strongest connection to the rift. She's like the conduit, the bridge between these two realities.
Exactly. So when she says that the rift is coming back, Ira and NixonNina, they know they can't ignore it. They have to face this threat. even though they don't remember what it is or how to fight it.
Right, and that presents this whole new challenge, doesn't it? How do you fight an enemy you've forgotten? How do you prepare for a battle when you can't even remember what you're fighting for?
It's true. They have to rely on their instincts, their intuition. They have to trust Melody. Even though she seems like a stranger to them, they have to trust that those fragmented memories hold the key to defeating this unknown enemy.
And as those anomalies become more frequent, more intense, Melody's connection to the rift intensifies. She becomes their guide, leading them towards this inevitable confrontation.
Like they're on a quest, right? Following a map they can't read. Guided by a compass that's pointing to a destination they don't remember.
I like that analogy. And just when they think they're finally ready to face the rift, Melody reveals this chilling truth. The rift, it isn't just some force of nature. It's a conscious entity, a being with its own motives, its own desires.
Wait, hold on. So the rift isn't just some random tear in reality. It's like a thinking, feeling thing.
That's what Melody says. She says the rift, it feeds on fear, on chaos, and it's determined to break through into their reality.
So the stakes are even higher now, right? They're not just fighting for their own survival. They're fighting to protect this new reality, this world that they barely understand, but have come to care about.
Exactly. And Melody, she knows how to stop the rift. She says there's this hidden portal that will lead them back to their previous reality, back to the source of the problem. This is a big moment for Ira and NixonNina. They have to make a choice. Stay in this new reality, this safe haven they've created, or step back into the unknown, into the heart of chaos, to fight an enemy they don't even remember.
And they choose to fight.
They do.
Well,
They trust Melody. They trust their instincts.
yeah,
They step into that portal, ready to face whatever awaits them on the other side.
I bet.
But right before they disappear, Melody drops one final bombshell. The rift. It isn't just trying to break through. It's trying to rewrite reality, to reshape both worlds in its own image.
Oh, wow.
So there you have it. Our heroes are poised on the brink of this epic battle. A battle for the fate of, well, two realities, armed with these fragmented memories and a newfound sense of purpose.
The question is, will it be enough? Man, talk about a cliffhanger, right? Last time we left Ira, NixonNina, and Melody staring right into that portal, ready to face off against the rift. And, well, let's just say they don't exactly get a warm welcome on the other side.
It's total sensory overload. Like they're bombarded with these crazy swirling energies, spectral entities just like zipping around like angry wasps. And the air itself is crackling with this raw power. It's a far cry from that quiet, almost normal world they left behind.
Definitely. And right in the middle of all that chaos, guess who they run into?
Not Claude Van Glaze.
Oh, but it is good old Claude, looking more unhinged than ever. Remember, this is Ira's culinary school rival, who basically went full-on supervillain, trying to, harness the rift's energy for himself.
He's practically become a spectral entity himself, hasn't he? His form, it's like flickering in and out of focus, a visual representation of how deeply the rift has, corrupted him, how his ambition has twisted him into something monstrous.
Yeah, for sure. But even though Ira, NixonNina, and Melody, they have these gaps in their memories, they haven't lost their skills or their courage. NixonNina, she immediately goes into scientist mode, trying to analyze the rift's energy patterns, looking for a way to disrupt its stability.
It's remarkable, isn't it, how quickly she adapts. Thrown back into this crazy reality, surrounded by these forces she barely understands, and yet she doesn't even hesitate. She's driven by this pure curiosity, this desire to understand the unknown, even when it's terrifying.
That's NixonNina for you. And Melody, with her connection to the rift, she's like a human shield, deflecting those spectral attacks, guiding that raw energy away from Ira and NixonNina.
She's essential, really. She's the key to their survival. She can sense the rift's movements, anticipate its attacks. It's as if she's become part of this chaotic symphony, and she's able to, harmonize with its wild rhythms.
It's pretty amazing. And then there's Ira, still a pastry chef at heart. You wouldn't think he'd be much use in an interdimensional battle, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out he has this incredible ability.
Tell me more.
So remember how Ira was obsessed with order and precision, like down to the exact temperature of his ovens? Well, that same meticulousness, that need for balance, it translates to the rift's energy. He instinctively knows how to stabilize that chaotic energy, how to counteract the rift's wild fluctuations.
No way.
Yeah. Basically, Ira, the guy who used to freak out over a slightly burnt cookie, is now the anchor holding reality together.
That's a brilliant twist. The novel is showing us that sometimes our greatest strengths, they come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
Ira's obsession with control, which in the normal world might seem, I don't know, limiting, it becomes the key to saving reality.
It's pretty wild. But, as you're fighting Claude and these spectral entities, they realize something. Simply closing the rift isn't going to be enough. It's too deeply embedded in reality now, like a crack in a foundation.
So what do?
Well, Melody. She makes this heartbreaking decision. She realizes that she's the key to sealing the rift permanently because of her unique connection, right? She can basically become the glue that holds reality together. But it means sacrificing herself, becoming one with the rift.
Oh, wow. That's a huge sacrifice.
It is. She's finally free from Claude's control. She's reunited with Ira and NixonNina. She's starting to remember who she really is, and yet she has to give it all up to save everyone.
That's a powerful testament to her character, though, isn't it? Choosing the greater good, even though it means losing her own chance at happiness. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there's still hope, still a chance for redemption.
It really is. And with Melody's sacrifice, Ira and NixonNina managed to seal the rift, sending Claude tumbling into the abyss along with it. The world is safe, but at a terrible cost.
The ending is bittersweet, for sure. They won, but they lost a dear friend. And even though they're back in their own reality, the memories of their time in the rift, their time with Melody, they're fragmented like shattered pieces of a mirror.
Yeah, but they have each other. And that seems to be enough. They rebuild their lives, knowing that the rift, it might always be out there, lurking somewhere in the fabric of reality.
It's a powerful message about resilience, I think, about finding hope. Even in the face of loss and uncertainty, they faced their deepest fears. They fought for something bigger than themselves, and they came out the other side, forever changed.
My surfer scientist secret wife. It's more than just a wild adventure story, It's a story about facing your fears, embracing the unexpected, and finding strength in the most unlikely places.
It reminds us that even in a world that seems, I don't know, increasingly chaotic and unpredictable, there's still beauty, there's connection, there's hope. And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of faith, a dash of courage, and maybe a really good pastry to hold it all together.
Beautifully said. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into this wonderfully weird and thought-provoking novel. If you're looking for a story that will challenge your perceptions, make you laugh, and maybe even make you cry a little, I highly recommend checking it out.
Definitely. And until next time, folks, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, sometimes the most ordinary things, like a perfectly baked croissant, can hold the most extraordinary power.
Happy reading, everyone.
Click the link below, or visit Amazon.com and enter the author's name, Ryan Scorpio Reese, in the search field to find this book and all the other fascinating titles he has to offer.